checking in to tell you more about the Guild Academy, what we've been up to, and what you can expect from this 12-week program. And I will talk a little bit about the curriculum right now so you can learn more about the things that you will learn in this program and decide if it's the right fit for you. Because we want to make sure the right people join this program. So the right people are early stage entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs with an idea who want to go through the process of validating that idea, prototyping solutions, user testing, learning something about running a successful business and how to also hire help that you need and hire teams. And we will then also dive into a few other topics around operational tools that can help you set up a successful business so that you can actually focus on the product that you want to build or the service rather than spreadsheets and things that you don't really get a lot of value from but are part of running a business. So part one of the curriculum is all about validating your idea. So we will have an introduction so you get to learn about the program, you see who else is in the program, which is always exciting. You get to form your mastermind group, and then from there we're jumping into sharing our idea and building upon that idea, learning about rapid prototyping, what that means, what it is, how much fun it can be, and then the standard things around user testing. There's a lot of things you can do wrong with user testing, so you want to make sure you don't fall into those gaps and you set up some pretty good user tests. So part two of the curriculum is all about building your MVP, minimum viable product. You'll hear that a lot when you're in Silicon Valley, and it's an entrepreneurship term used that gets you to the point where you have something that you can put in front of people, the minimum viable product, that then you get feedback and then people might start buying it and you can sell it. So it's always the first step from idea to MVP to think about how you build that MVP, what tools you use, what users you build it for, how that user looks, how you start marketing that. So that's all about MVP, and we will help you unlock the MVP toolbox. What are tools out there that don't cost you a lot of money so that you can really, again, focus on building your MVP rather than focus on managing developer teams and all that good stuff, which is also very expensive. We want you to be able to get to a good place before you hire those teams. And then we'll talk about metrics as well, because metrics is something really important, and we'll tell you how you measure your product and then how you will be able to adjust your business models, your marketing, your product, your user interface, all the different things based on the feedback that you get. Part three is all about running your business, because running your business is an important part of running a successful business. You don't want to be legally incompliant, or you don't want to spend too much time on your accounting. You want to have all that set up, and we'll help you run that. So we also talk about business models in this particular module to understand how can your business operate with what kind of costs, what are the expenses, how much do you want to make, and then create forecasting models around that. And that includes the business models. What is the business model that you want to run so that you have the company that you want to build? And then we'll talk about basic business financials, and of course also the types of funding, which is always very exciting and something that a lot of entrepreneurs can't really wrap their head around, because there's not just VC funding, there's many different ways of funding. And then in part four, we talk about building your team. So you may be really good at some things, but you're probably also not so great at other things. And what we need to understand as entrepreneurs is where are our strengths and how can we overcome our weaknesses by either learning that stuff, and that takes time and effort, or by hiring people who are already awesome at that, right? And that costs money potentially, but it could also be co-founders, it could be people that come in that you want to give a part of your company. So we'll talk about all that to make sure you understand what your options are, what are the jobs that can be outsourced to platforms like Upwork and other platforms where you get cheap help to do these tedious little tasks that need to be done as well, to free you up for the things that you're really good at. And then also, how do you set up contracts with the first people who come in even people who volunteer with their startup, so that you are legally protected when you bring them in to work on your idea. Okay? And then number nine is all about management of the different stakeholders in your business. So that's the contractors that you hire, it's the investors you bring in, it's the advisory board, it's your volunteers, it's your customers, it's also your user testing groups, and there's a lot of different stakeholders, also vendors, that need to be managed, and we'll tell you a few high-level things there so you have a successful relationship to all of these people. In part 5, we talk about go-to-market, because now you have an MVP that you feel fairly good about, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough to be tested in the market, okay? And then we talk about how do you market this, Just because you have a website or an app doesn't mean people come and love it and you'll be a billionaire in a few months. That's not how it works. We need to understand what are our marketing channels, how do we unlock them, and where do we actually spend our money if we do have some money to spend on marketing, and how do we measure what that money actually translates into. Because a lot of entrepreneurs are doing sort of a shotgun approach at marketing, but they don't measure, so then it's very hard to actually trace back which one of these initiatives has created the big success. Right? Was it the bus ad? Was it the Val pack? Was it the little posters or the flyers you gave out, the Google ads? Was it the product, the referral program? Was it word of mouth? Those kinds of questions we're going to answer, and also set you up with a strategy plan around marketing. We'll give you a bunch of tools as well. What are the marketing tools out there that you can use that are just fantastic tools and make your life as an entrepreneur much easier. Lastly, we will talk about launching your business and storytelling, because storytelling is so important for your marketing, for your sales, and ultimately also for pitching if you decide that you want to pitch. You don't have to pitch. Maybe your business is not something you want to pitch, but you will have to pitch your business in other areas when you not ask for investment, but you want to sell, or you want to get more users, or you want to get user feedback. All these different areas are about storytelling and telling the story of your startup and how it relates to all these different stakeholders. And we will walk you through that process. We'll give you a lot of advice. We'll give you amazing resources in this space. And I'm very excited for the storytelling and pitching session. And if you want to, at the end of this, you will be able to pitch to a bunch of investors here from Silicon Valley, angel investors and VCs, to give you feedback on your first pitch, and also the opportunity to raise some money. We have a partner called Zasmic, and Zasmic is an international developer company. So it's basically development on demand. So they have developers there in all the different areas, full stack, back end, front end, you name it. And they give the winner of this pitch competition a prize. And it's $20,000 worth of developer hours with that company. And that will definitely propel your company forward. So be sure that if you want to pitch, you make use of that opportunity. Then after the demo day, you still have access to the community. We want you to be nurturing that relationship that you built with the Academy and all the Academy applicants and the participants in the Academy. And then of course, we'll have future programs for you as well if you want to grow, if you're going to that next step of growth in your startup, and follow along. So if any of this sounds interesting, you feel like that's something you can really use in your startup right now, you like the content, what you heard, you like the different topics that we're going to talk about, but you also like the fact that you have a community that supports you through this journey, then sign up now, apply to the Guild Academy. It's letsguildacademy.com, and applications are open. Thank you so much.